My name is Sophia Nicole, and you are now watching the Untold Interview.
Sophia, welcome to Untold Interview.
Thank you for having me.
Hey. So let's go right into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your backdrop of your life.
So my name is Sophia Nicole.
Okay.
I go by Sophie. I'm 37 years old, and I am a mother of five. I grew up in the northeast part of Philadelphia, like the Holmesburg section of Philadelphia.
Right.
So it was a PHA housing projects called Lindenfield Homes.
Oh no, okay.
Yeah, I moved there with my family when I was 6 years old from North Philly. So basically, in that community, it was like everybody from all over Philly moved to that housing projects.
Okay.
So you had people from Southwest, South Philly, North Philly, West Philly, all around the city. We
Right.
just ended up in the Great Northeast, where I spent most of my childhood all the way up until the age of 18. So I lived there with my mom, my brother, my sister, and my dad for a few years. And I think when I was like in the third grade, my dad and my mom, they kind of like broke up, and my dad left. So it was just me, my mom, my sister, and my brother.
Okay.
And then eventually my mom took on my little cousin for 5 years. So then we had a family member, like she grew up like my little sister. So that was the household: single mom, older brother, older sister, me, and then a little cousin for 5 years.
Now, growing up in your household, without dad being present, did that affect you as a kid?
Yes. Because ever since I was maybe like 3 or 4, all I could remember is him being around. So I think I probably was like 9 or 10 when I remember everything. Like my mom was on the phone talking to his wife that he actually ended up marrying, and I heard the conversation, them going back and forth, yelling, cursing each other out. I seen my mom just start taking all his clothes and putting everything outside, like his hats. My dad used to wear the hats with the, like with the
Little Kango hat.
the king, not the fedoras or whatever,
I got
and
you.
the feathers.
Right,
Like
right,
he was
right.
sharp, like,
Right.
and he used to dress really nice all the time. So I seen her throw everything out, like his hats, his speakers, everything. Like, you not coming back here. And if he did come back, we never seen him. Like me, my sister, and my brother, we never seen him. So
Well, did you have a close relationship with your dad?
yeah, I used to sleep in the bed with them. So my mom, when we lived in North Philly, like if I got up in the middle of the night, like I was getting in the bed, and he was normally the one who cooked the meals for us when I was little. He was a cook, so he could cook really good. He was good with his hands. He did like construction work,
Okay.
so he was always in the kitchen. So that was who I was used to preparing our meals. Like, so the person who would feed us the most was no longer there. And I remember my mom calling me to her room, like, just me. She didn't call my sister. She didn't call my brother. And she was like, because he was my biological father. I'm sorry.
Okay.
He was my biological father, and I'm the youngest of my siblings. So older brother, older sister, I'm the youngest. She called me to the room and was like, your dad not coming back. And I just stood there and looked at her like, okay. And then I left, went in my room, and I cried. I cried myself to sleep.
How was your relationship with your mom after that?
I love my mom. Like, she was my person. So she was fun. My mom was a fun mom. Like, she always had us doing stuff. Like, she worked, but she had us go to like the Poconos for the summer. Like, I remember going to Teen Haven, like those things. So I think because she was in like the shelter system in like recovery at the time, when I was like little, she like had the resources and networking with people, whereas though she was able to keep us active. So I remember learning about her addiction. I didn't know what it was back then. We used to go to the AA meetings, but we used to live in a shelter prior to, moving from North Philly to the PHA. She finally got like low income housing.
Okay.
But before that, she had, overcame drug addiction, getting us out the system, like kinship. So, my mom, I learned a lot from my mom. Like we were very, very close. So I learned how to be who I am today because of the things she went through.
Now, did your mom drug addiction happen after Dad left the house?
No, so it was before I know that my sister grandmom took all three of us. So my sister, her father's mother took us in, basically.
Okay.
My sister's grandmom. So I don't remember those times. I learned about it as I got older because she would still get us on the weekends and, spend time with us. So my mom basically was like, went through some things. My sister's father passed away when she was an infant. So I think the trauma from that, played a part in my mom not being able to take care of us, or maybe drug addiction from trauma. I don't really know her story, but I just know my story, what I was told, that we were there, and Miss Faulkner, she took care of all of us like we were her own. And even after the fact, if she got my sister on the weekends, I got to go too. They bought my sister clothes, they bought me clothes.
What school did you attend? In middle and high school? So
for middle school, I went to Austin Meehan Middle School in Northeast Philadelphia. And then I ended up going to Abraham Lincoln High School in Northeast. But
that was a good school.
I mean,
can't talk about just the people, not the school.
The school, you had to test in for the outside kids, but I was neighborhood, so yeah, a lot of kids from uptown, North Philly, everybody came there. But I was it was considered our neighborhood school, so I guess it was a good school, but we didn't feel like it was because we were already the kids from the projects. When we come to the school, it was like, oh, them the project kids. Oh. Not knowing that a lot of the kids that was there was project kids too.
Now, so it didn't feel like a privilege. It felt like, hey, a public school situation.
Sure. Okay. I just felt like we lived from my experience, like I said, we were known as the project kids that were going there. So I didn't feel like I was going to a good school. Maybe some of the kids that tested in, they did, but it was like, oh, this is just our neighborhood school. You don't realize that it's a privilege when you're down there, when you're living it, when you're a kid. You don't think, oh, I live in the Northeast, I'm getting better than the kids that's coming here from North Philly or Southwest, West Philly. You don't look at it like that. But I went there, and I went to a disciplinary school. I went to CEP. So
I heard of CEP. Yeah. Why you go to CEP?
Not because I was bad, more so because I was like, when I got to high school, it was like, we can cut class, so, you start cutting class. And then at the time I was dating my son's father, and I had a lot of girls that didn't like me because I guess they liked him. So it was like, I got into a fight one time, didn't even know why. She wanted to fight me, and I'm just like, what? So fighting, cutting class, I kind of actually opted. My mom came to the school, and I just felt like my mom wasn't no nonsense mom. She put my brother away, she put my sister away, and I was like, I don't want to go away. So I knew I was next. So my mom was you don't want to listen to my rules, then I'll throw you to the system. That's how my mom, that's how she was. She a Taurus, so she I'm the bull. We're not having none of that.
Right.
So we went to the school, and they gave me an option, and I was like, Mom, I want to leave. I want to go to CEP, and I want to start there. It was either get expelled and go there, or go.
Right. Right. So at that time, now was your dad in your life at that time?
My father spent most of my upbringing in prison.
Okay.
So he would write me. That's why he was like my first pen pal. My dad. I learned how to write letters and send pictures to the jail. He's the one how I found out that you couldn't send Polaroid pictures to the prison like the black on it. Like
Right.
like I sent him all these pictures. My mom bought me a Polaroid camera for Christmas, and they sent them all back because you wasn't allowed to send Polaroids to prison.
Wow. So, receiving that mail back with your pictures and it, as a kid, like, how you feeling about that?
I was sad because I worked hard on that. Like me and my sister had put on some clothes that her grandma had bought us. They took us to King of Prussia Mall. We ain't know what mall was, but they took us to KOP, and you a kid in KOP, and you like, what's this? And my mom didn't drive, so we go with them. We drive and we going all over out to eat. Like it was like fun. So I was excited. Like, let me show my dad my new stuff. And my mom had bought me and my sister a camera for Christmas because my love for pictures come from her. Like she's a photo album picture person. So us taking pictures and always having a camera was her thing. She taught me as a kid. So I was hyped. I was like, my dad gonna see me in my clothes. I brushed my hair all out. You couldn't tell me I wasn't cute. Like, I still have those pictures.
Wow.
I don't think he ever got a chance to see them.
Now, are both of your parents still living?
No.
Okay.
My father passed away in 2017.
Oh wow, that's not too long ago.
Yeah, 2017 December, and my mother is still living.
Okay. And before your dad passed, you guys were on good terms.
Yeah, but growing up with my dad, he had a wife, and his wife was just like somebody who didn't really care for his children. She tried to act like she did, but she really didn't. And I have a brother on my dad's side, so my dad has two children, so me and my older brother. So I'm the baby on both sides.
Right.
And I just kind of feel like he wasn't there for either one of us. Like when he was with my mom, he would do more. So basically he would get me and my brother, like my brother's mom and my mom was cool. Like they had a relationship, like, hey, even though me and my brother are like a year and a half behind each other, like we're like kind of like not Irish twins, I don't know, but my brother's like only like a year older than me. So, but our parents, everybody was cool. Like my mom was cool with his mom. If we was down North Philly, we ran into his mom. My mom would even go knock on her door just so I could see my brother, like outside of my dad. So I seen that, like, that co-parenting thing at a very young age, that maturity.
Most parents today, they really don't have that maturity of co-parenting, and it affects the kid.
Yeah, I co-parent with my kid's father right now.
Okay.
My youngest kids, and I think it's kind of better when that person has a partner. I prefer to deal with a partner because females, we can figure it out. I feel like it takes time to get to that level.
Right.
I'm still a work in progress. You know what I mean?
Right.
I still pray and ask God to because it's not easy. Especially when things are new and you're trying to transition, you're used to a certain way. So, but yeah, my mom showed me how to get it done. Like she the bull. Like, of course, she's a Taurus. Like, it's nothing. And
right.
my brother, mom, like she was always nice to me. Like because of that, like that open door. Like I was, I could go, as I got older, I could go knock on the door if I could, find them. Because it was so hard not having my dad around. It was hard to try to keep in contact with my brother. And it was like, I remember he would come on the weekends. We would have so much fun. And parents don't understand, like when they leave, it kind of stops. So it was like I lost my dad and I lost my brother. Like, I remember like we lived in the Northeast, and one weekend he came, my mom was cooking lobster, and he was like, I'm allergic to seafood. I'm like, you are? His eyes all watering. I'm like, you're not even eating it. Like, I'm like, you don't eat crabs? No, I'm allergic to it. And my brother's birthday is the day after my mom's. So, they both Taurus. So I was like, every time my mom's birthday came around, I was always thinking about my brother's birthday. I remember when we lived in North Philly, the first time I remember meeting him, I can still remember it. I was like maybe like 5 years old, And in North Philly, they had the double doors, and I used to live on Cleveland Street in North Philly before we moved to the Northeast. And my brother was like scared to come in. I remember that. So I was like 5, he was like 6 when we met each other, and he was like scared to come in. And I was like standing there, I'm ready to see him. Like they said, I got a brother, he coming for the weekend. So I remember he was shy, he was scared to meet me. And but I was hyped, like that's my bro. And it was like when you a kid, you just be happy to see your sibling, whether it's from your mom side or your dad's side. So like I said, when my dad left my mom, it kind of like stopped our communication because he was in prison. So it was kind of up to us to like be cool. But you know, I remember finding him. I was gonna find him. We didn't have social media back then.
We didn't.
So we had to have either the phone number or address. I remember going down Huntington Park looking for him one day, and I could not find him. But I was asking around. It's funny because I ended up finding one of his friends that knew him. Like I was on a beat, like, yo, y'all see Wop? Y'all see Lil Wop? I was looking for my brother. I wanted to see him. But it's always because I remember that interaction with him. Like I remember our times together. Like we used to just have like real fun.
Yeah, is your brother still living?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's your relationship?
It's still like it's not as strong as I wish it was, but it's all love. Like we don't have no beef with each other. Like I love my brother, but we don't communicate like how a normal brother and sister would maybe if they lived in the same household. But like, you know, if I see my brother, what's up, bro? Like, you know, I hate the fact that, you know, I feel like the last time I seen him was like at a funeral. And then it was like, oh, let's go to the gym together. Like, you know, we got a video we did. We was both working out, going to the gym. So I remember my brother like coming to get me, taking me on a date. Like we went to this diner, and at one point he actually came to live with me and my kids. So, you know, it was kind of fun.
Earlier you mentioned your kid's father, you know, you guys had got together in school. So you guys was like high school sweethearts.
Oh, okay, so I had 5 different children, okay, and I had 3 by 3 different men.
Okay.
So let me just clear that up. I didn't really go into that. So my oldest son I had when I was 16. I got pregnant when I was 15, right before I turned 16. But that wasn't my first pregnancy. That was my second pregnancy. The first time I got pregnant, I was 14 years old. And my mom wasn't having it. She was the bull. So she found out I was pregnant, and she was like, no, we're not doing none of that. And, you know, my mom, she had a job working like, whereas though they would pay for the abortion. So my first baby was aborted because my mom said we're not having none of that. So I remember my son's dad was like really upset because my mom didn't tell his mom about the abortion until after I had the abortion. Like, you know, it was like, I guess that's just what she knew, like, we're not having no baby.
How did that make you feel?
I didn't have a say. Like, I felt bad. I felt bad that I put myself in that situation because my mom found out I was pregnant when she took me to the GYN to put me on birth control. So it was like she was trying to prevent it, and it was like a slap in the face. Like the day she took me to the doctor to get on birth control, they're like, she's already pregnant. It was like,
how far along were you?
I think I was like 8 or 9 weeks when I got my abortion.
Okay. When you had your first child, you know, were you in a happy space?
I don't know if I wasn't happy to be pregnant, but I remember my older brother came home from prison, and he was like, you take birth control, sis? And I'm like, yeah, I'm on birth control. He was like, stop taking it, it's no good for you. And and I was taking Depo at the time, and I did like Depo shot after
Now,
that.
what's Depo?
Depo is like a shot they give you on your butt for like to prevent pregnancy, and you get it like every 3 months. And a lot of like me, a lot of my friends was on it. A lot of us had issues, like it causes like hormonal changes, like weight gain. For me, it caused me to gain weight. Some people, it causes them to have a long menstrual, all types of stuff. But any type of birth control has side effects. So I was on it, and when he said it to me, I was like, yeah, I don't like taking this stuff anyway. By the time he said something, I think I was taking the patch. Like I was like, it was like a patch you put on your butt for like 3 weeks, and then you take it off. And I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna do it no more. And I ended up getting pregnant again with my now 21-year-old son, who I hid from my mom because I was like, we ain't doing that again.
Why you hiding?
Because I didn't want to go back to the abortion clinic. So I didn't say anything. Like, I remember watching this movie, and the girl, she bought bigger clothes, and I did that. My mom took me clothes shopping. I bought bigger clothes. She had already taught me about going to the doctor, so I knew where to go at. So I was getting prenatal care behind her back at the free clinic. And I had a friend who already had a baby. So it was like, once you hit a certain age, you don't really need your parents' consent for certain things. Like the healthcare system will kind of help you do things, because they can't, it's HIPAA, they can't tell on you. So
right.
I was like almost 4 months when my mom found out I was pregnant with my son. And but it was crazy because I was around her every single day, her and my stepdad.
And she couldn't tell the difference.
It was the summertime, she did not know. But when I went to go see my aunt Trina, she knew. As soon as I walked in, she said, "Sophie, you pregnant." My whole mouth dropped. And I'm like, what? Like, how do you know? Like, and that's when I realized that my aunt really loved me. Like, I was confused. Like, my mom don't even look at me, kind of thing. That's how I felt. Like, she don't even look at me. My aunt said, I said, "How you know, Auntie?" She said, "It's in your face." She said, "Your face, I can tell you pregnant. It's all in your face." And she said it instantly, like my aunt. So I felt bad too, because my two aunts both knew, and they kind of had to keep a secret from my mom. And I'm like, please don't tell her, because I'm not getting no abortion. And she didn't tell, like, that was like a secret. Like, nobody knew about the abortion prior. So I was like, I'm not doing that again. Like,
now, when you withheld that information from your mom, were you guys like close at that time, or was it like a miscommunication for her?
No, we were cool. Like
so,
me and my mom we were cool. Like, we didn't have any beef. My son dad at the time was cool with my mom, cool with my stepdad. He's the one who told on me.
Your son.
Yeah, because we got into an argument, and my mom picked up the phone. So I had a phone in my bedroom, phone downstairs. She jumped on the phone. She heard us arguing. Like, "Miss Sophia, your daughter pregnant." And I'm like, oh my God. Because I was like, I think he was like fed up. Like, yeah, we're going to tell her, because maybe this one might not, make it. I don't know. You know how it is when you're young. But he was very upset about the first abortion. So.
And that was from him?
Yeah, it's the same guy. But my mom was so grimy. She I can laugh about it now, but that shit hurt my feelings. Excuse me for cursing, but he was like, "Miss Sophia, your daughter pregnant," and she gonna say by who? Because it was like he was telling on me,
right? So
it threw her off. Like, well, by who? And I'm like, what? Like, Mom, like, like, he's my boyfriend. Like, he's the first one I had,
Hold up. Now, what age was all of this?
The first pregnancy, I was 14. The second one, I was 15.
Gotcha.
But I had delivered my son at the age of 16.
Gotcha.
But yeah, That was crazy.
So, you had your first kid officially at the age of 16. That was your son. Um, how do that affect you as a kid and affect you as going to school on a regular?
So when my mom found out I was pregnant, she called DHS on me. Yeah, she had already, remember earlier I said she picked my brother away, my sister away. She called DHS, and at the time it was this lady named Phyllis Klutzman. So when we were acting up and I was going to CP, like she had called DHS, like my mom called DHS on herself. Like she didn't care. Like these kids not acting up, basically kind of scared straight us kind of thing. So my mom got services through DHS where it was though we had a worker who would come and do things with us. So yeah, she called Phyllis. Phyllis came out. They were looking for a mommy baby program for me. Like my mom said that we not doing it. Like you're not having no baby. So if you want to have your baby, you're going to a mommy baby program and DHS is going to send you there. So that's what happened.
Now, is that something the tactics that your mom used on you guys? Is that something that her parents like did to her?
I'm not sure, but my mom didn't have a child as young as I did.
Okay.
So,
but I'm talking like far as hey, if you start acting up in school, I'm taking you to the system.
I don't know. I know that my grandma was an alcoholic. My mom was the oldest of 5. So I don't really, like I said, I don't really know all of her story. We never really sat down and talked about a lot of it. But I just kind of feel like my mom was from the struggle. So all she know is like resources. So maybe from being in the shelter system, she know that, hey, I'm a single mom, really, I don't know what to do. I need help. So I feel like that's, from my understanding, I feel like she reached out like, hey, I need help. And these people, they can help me.
Right.
That's how it looked. My mom needed support. So instead of looking at DHS as a negative thing, I guess she called on them as a positive.
As a positive thing.
Yeah, that's how I think she looked at it.
Okay.
But I was able to finesse my mom, and she did not send me to the mommy baby program. So I begged her. I said, Mom, I promise I'm going to finish school. I understood at that moment that it was very serious and that I had really let her down. Because she always say, like, you're my smartest child. Like, you know, my mom really talked to me about boys and being careful. And she had me on the birth control. And like I said, my older brother was like, get off of that stuff. It's no good for you. And I believed him, which from that day, I still haven't been on birth control. That's how I probably got 5 kids. But, you know, I just didn't get on it. I started reading up on the side effects and stuff like that. But yeah, my mom, she let me stay. I ended up getting a job because I started working at the age of 14, you know, like the summer jobs. I got a job. I went to school. I went to work. I went to school. I went to work. And me and my son's dad, we both worked. We bought all our stuff. I didn't want to have a baby shower because I didn't want to like promote that I was having a baby.
Okay.
So a lot of the stuff that my son had was bought from me, bought from his dad. And then we were given like clothing from a family member who had just had a son. Like, so, you know, when somebody have a baby, you normally give, and whatever you have, we keep it in the, you know, community and the family. So to this day, what my kids grow out or something, I always give it back. That's what we do. We help each other. It's like a community. Like, oh, can your kid use this? You know.
I like that.
Yeah.
So being as though that dad is not present, how do you see men? Because some girls will grow up and like, oh, my dad was, you know, beating mom, so I see men like this, you know. But how do you see at that time? How did you see men?
Well, my mom, I did watch my mom and my dad fight. So growing up, I seen them fist fight. I was around that, and you know, it's always like, get off my mom, like, you know, it's always get off my mom. Don't touch my mom. Like, mostly any kid is going to defend their mom. So, I don't know. I just kind of felt like let down. Like, I feel like the first person that ever broke my heart was my dad. You know, I wanted him to stay. I wanted him to come. I wanted him to, when he would call me, I wanted him to keep his word and actually come, you know. I remember one day, like my dad took me on a date to go see like the movie Life, and we watched it. We had so much fun. And but then I didn't hear from him again. It's like, you know, standing you up, like, oh, it's like going on a date for the. I know what that feel like, to go on a date and not get a second date kind of thing. My dad taught me that. My dad also was just like an alcoholic too. He had like childhood trauma. He was in like the Zulu gang and all that back in the day. So I don't know. He's a product of a teen mom. His mom had him at a very young age. So he, like I said, I love my dad. You know, I don't know what he went through, but you know, he didn't have the best upbringing either. So, you know, I feel like when you're a kid, when you don't really know the whole story, you kind of hold on to that resentment. But a lot of it is just the cycle repeating itself. So, you know, like, cause I don't know, I think my grandma might have had him when she was like either 14 or 15 years old, her first child.
Fast forward to your early adult years, you know, what's going on in Sophie's life? What is Sophie doing? Are you doing a 9 to 5, things like that?
Okay, so I have 5 children. The ages are 21, my son. I have a 14-year-old daughter. I have a 10-year-old son. I have an 8-year-old daughter, and I have a 6-year-old son. And I was a kinship parent, like my mom was for my cousin.
Right.
So I have a baby girl who's not my baby. She's getting adopted. So, but in my heart, she'll always be one of my children because I had got, you know, to the chance to become a kinship parent to a family member. She's my little cousin during the pandemic. So.
Now, for people that don't know, what is it called, a kinship?
Kinship is like basically DHS. A child can go into the system in DHS, but if a neighbor or a family member gets the child, it's considered kinship instead of a stranger getting a child.
Okay.
So during the pandemic, I became a kinship parent. So right now, I'm a Lyft driver, the best Lyft in the city. I do that because my number one job first is to be a mom.
Right.
So my schedule with my kids going to school, it doesn't work for me to have a regular 9 to 5. And I drive my kids to school. I don't want them at the neighborhood school. So it's like a 35-minute drive. And then kindergartner get out at a certain time. He gets out at 2 o'clock. So, you know, I just can't do it. And then my youngest son is asthmatic. So if he was ever to have like an issue with asthma, you know, I did the 9 to 5 before, working for like the banks and stuff like that, working at Wells Fargo, working at in retail, like for Banana Republic, Gap Inc. for years. So it's just like, I don't want to have to. I did that with my younger kids, having to go to work and get FMLA and call out. It's so much stress. Like the more kids you have, the less support you have. That's how I feel from my experience. The more children I had, the less support I had. So out of all my kids' fathers, the only one I've ever lived with is the one who I have the most children with, the last 3. So basically my oldest son's father, he passed away from bone cancer at the age of 21. That was a very traumatic time for me because the first time I experienced death, it was happening to my son. My second child's father is, he's present now, but he was gone for maybe like 10 years of my daughter's life.
Okay.
So she gets to, see what, it's like the same cycles. Like I said, my dad was out the house in and out of prison. So when you have a baby and your baby's 1, and then their father goes away for like 10 years of that child's life, it's a lot. But this is why people say, oh, you got more than one baby father. People, you don't know why. I don't think anybody just wants to not have good, healthy relationships. Things don't work out. So, and then the third child's father, I actually met him in high school when I was pregnant with my oldest son. So it was like a history thing. So I thought that relationship was going to be like my forever relationship. I thought that, we was going to break generational curses. Like, we would say this, like, yeah, we going to fight it out, but things don't always work out. You know what I mean? So now I'm a single mom of 5, and I'm doing what I have to do despite my trials and tribulations. So.
You had a few accidents. Can we talk about that? Let's talk about the first one.
Okay.
Take me through that whole day, the beginning to the end.
Okay. So my first accident I had was with me, my 10-year-old daughter, and my cousin. And me and my cousin were basically doing Amazon Flex, and we were going to the hub down like 40th Street in West Philly. So we had picked up a couple orders that day, and then did those orders. We left, went back home. We picked my daughter up and said, we're going to do some more orders for the rest of it, because you'll break up your time. So we on an order, and we're driving in West Philly, and we hear like the fire trucks coming. So I was always told you can't beat a truck. So I pulled over because it was an ambulance and a fire truck in front of us, and then there was one behind us. So I look out my rear view, and I see that the truck is like coming. It's like whipped the corner. It like, the way it came around the corner was like this, like as if it was like tipping over a
like
little
it
bit.
swung.
Yeah, it swung. So I'm like, oh wow, like let me move over. Something bad must have happened. So I pull over, and I'm like, I'm waiting for the truck to come. So we just sitting in the car talking. We're having an issue with the Amazon Flex order. So my cousin is on the phone with Amazon Flex trying to resolve an issue. So my daughter in the back seat. So it's me as the driver, my daughter sitting behind me, and my cousin is in the passenger seat. And I'm parked, kissing the curb, like I'm nowhere in the street. And the fire truck is a block away. Okay. So we just sitting there talking, and next thing you know, we just was up. Like I drive a Chrysler, like a van. Right. And the van is on all 4. Next thing I know, we're like linked on 2. And we got hit by the ladder fire truck. So that's the biggest truck. So basically the wheels kind of like lifted us up. I don't know, but we went on 2. And then once the truck got off of us, we were back on 4. It was like a side swipe, but we got lifted. So we're like this in the car, like pushed. And it was February. It was very cold that day, like very windy. And the fire truck kept going. They didn't even know they hit us, I guess. Okay. So it was a witness. 2 witnesses we had. Was a guy was like, they were like, that one of the neighbors was like, they were driving entirely too fast. And yeah, he just dropped us. And the noise, because you gotta understand, they're going on a call. And I just don't understand how we got hit when we were trying to be cautious. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want to be in the middle of an ambulance and a fire truck, so I pulled over. So it still bothers me. Like, how did I get hit when I was avoiding, like...
Well, I mean, you know, it could have been a rookie that day. It could have been, not making any kind of excuses for, you getting hit by the fire truck. So, okay, now that you guys are in the accident, was guys taking to court, like sue and things like that?
Yeah, I'm just kind of disappointed with the city of Philadelphia. I feel like first of all, the first responders was like, when you call, like, oh, we just got hit by a fire truck. It was on its way to a call. So the ambulance that pulled up, they didn't care about us getting hit. They wanted to know if I had my registration. They didn't care about us as a people. The whole thing, oh, get hit for money, is a whole like joke. Like, you don't want to be hit at all, because You're not going to get rich off of getting hit in the city of Philadelphia. So all our life, oh, call this lawyer, call that lawyer. It's not worth it. The trauma that you endure, the trauma my daughter endures, the trauma I still deal with, the trauma my cousin deals with, and the lack of care for Black women and children is real. Like, nobody cared that we got hit by that fire truck. It was like, where's your registration? Where's your insurance? And it was like, listen, I'm legit. Can I get to the hospital? I was on the side of impact, and they made me get out and walk. So they made me get out and walk. They didn't get a stretcher for me.
You were treated unfairly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I had to call. I have it all documented. I have it all on video. I'm a vlogger. I'm a YouTuber. So I never really put it out there because at the time, you know, you're fighting a case, so you want it out there. Plus, you don't want the attention. I'm one of those people who's like, when people know that you're going through stuff, sometimes they praise your downfalls. So sometimes, like, you really do suffer like in silence. You keep it to yourself. Because everybody got something going on, and you know, ever since the pandemic, it's been rough for everybody. So it's like, if it ain't one thing, is another. So you just learn how to just deal with things and just keep it to yourself.
Just the horrific feeling of getting, you know, swiped or hit by a fire truck. You know, that's mind blowing in itself. You know, and that, for you to actually experience that, you know, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine.
You know what was hard is that when people see the car, they'll say like, "Oh, it don't even look like it was a bad hit." It was like I got hit from the back, like the corner panel, but it went all the way up to the front. Whereas though my door, I couldn't even open my door. They had to like pull my door open. So, and then like I said, it bust both of my tires, so I couldn't even move. It hit me and dropped me where I was at, and I just feel like people, they look at visual things and they just think, oh, it don't look that bad. Looks can be deceiving. And like I said, the sound, my spine, I have a pinched nerve in my neck between C5, C6. I have issues in my lumbar spine, L4, L5. It hurts to sit down. And then these lawyers are sending you to a chiropractor, but that's not, you need to really go to like an orthopedic doctor. Arthritis doesn't set in for a while, so you don't even know how messed up you are. And if you do go to pain management to get, you know, any type of help, and you're taking any type of Percocet or gabapentin, when you go to the ER for pain, they treat you like you're an addict. They treat you like that. So it's like, I don't know. I was like, I don't want to. I would go there like, oh, I'm in pain. Can you do some imaging? It's like, oh, you're just here for drugs. I was like, no, I'm not here for drugs. Just because I get prescribed, at the time I was getting prescribed those drugs, to the point where it's like, I was like, yeah, I don't want it no more. I was like, you can stop my Percocets. I don't want it. I don't want any of it. I'm gonna figure it out on my own, because I wanted to work anyway. And certain jobs you can't be on those pills. Like I wanted to drive the school kids, so you cannot take Percocet if you're driving school kids. So I say, yeah.
And at that time, you pretty much kind of banking on that lawyer money.
No. See, a lot of people would think that you're just banking on lawyer money, but I knew that the city wasn't going to do us right. Like, everybody knows the city is not going to do you right. You would think that they would, you know, you would think, but they didn't. I feel like my lawyer, he made out better than me and my cousin.
Meaning he got like more of the profit.
Yes, like he got more of a profit, and he didn't even like go after the money from my daughter. So basically that's something that we would have to pursue later on. So no, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You'll think that you'll get treated better, but it's the same as if you got into a regular car accident.
Your second incident, what was that about?
I used to sell cars on Facebook, and I was on my way to show a car. I like they're my kid's father cars. So I would, post the cars, or he would post the car, and I would go show the car.
Okay.
And I was Belfield and Girard Avenue, Belmont and Girard Avenue, and I was on the phone, like with my earphones in my ear, and I was having a conversation. I was being yelled at, and it just messed up my whole energy. And I walked in the street, and I got hit by a box truck. And the box truck just kept going, just like the fire truck kept going. So I'm just like, damn, like they didn't even know they hit me. And me and the guy who I was showing the car to, we both had been walking in and out the street. So I felt like I had enough space. I was about to get in the back seat of the car to do a test run with him for the car. And I just got clipped. And I didn't realize how bad it was until other people told me how bad my accident was I have a video, so they look at the video.
Now, where was this at? Like it was on a busy street? Like, where was this at?
Yeah, it's a busy street. So not too far from the Philadelphia Zoo, Girard Avenue was a really big intersection.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, so I was basically, the intersection that has like the trolleys, and it has a lane for cars.
Right.
So normally, I think the speed limit right there is only like 25 to 30 miles per hour.
Right.
The box truck was going faster than that. So it's like the middle of the truck hit me, but I don't know, like I didn't see the truck. But because I used to drive school kids in a van, I know that you're supposed to be able to see at least 2 blocks ahead of you. So I don't understand how they didn't see me. And there's another thing, like the cop come, I talked to the cop. I'm like, because I got up. Like once I got hit, the guy helped me back up. I was up.
Right. That the guy in the box truck.
The guy I was showing the car to that was trying to buy the car.
Okay. Did you get rushed to the hospital right after that? Or?
No. I actually still did the test drive with the car and everything. Like
after you got hit by that truck?
Mm-hmm. I was still trying to sell the car.
Wow. When you got up, you proceeded to try to sell it. Still continue with the ride with the potential person that will be buying this car, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Are you in pain?
No.
You didn't feel no pain after that?
No, I had like a gash on my buttocks. That's where most of my hit took. I had a hoodie on. I just took it off and wrapped it around myself and got in the back seat and still did a test drive. I think I was in like shock, but I just was like over it. I'm like, come on, let's just finish this up. Like, do you still want to buy the car? I was just like.
Where's your mental at that place?
What do you mean?
At that time that it happened, where's your mental at? Is you on, were you numb to certain things? In this particular situation, you just became numb quickly?
I felt like I was numb, but I also felt like I was in survival mode. Because it was like, if I sell this car, then it's a profit for me and my kids.
But you're not even thinking about your health, your well-being.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
No, I was just thinking about, we need to sell this car because we need money.
Right.
And that was the plan that morning. Like, I started out that day, like, I had a box in my hand that had a headrest in it. And I stepped in dog poop and I didn't even know it. So the person who met me with the car was like, "Oh, Sophie, you look like you stepped in dog poop." I'm like, "Oh man." So it's really like I started out having a shitty day, seriously. So
Right, right.
it was just like, dang, like I can't believe, like when I was on the ground, like I said, I was on the phone, was having a conversation. It was an argument because I just was like over it. Like I was mad. So I think because I got hit while I was mad, it was just like whatever. Like I was just like, come on, let's hurry up, get this done, and then
You can't. Yeah, I tell people all the time. If you get injured or if you like you just hurt, and especially when you're on a job, listen to your body because your body speaks a lot of volume to you. It gives you fair warnings and everything. So you got hit by the box truck. Did you proceed to go to seek medical attention after that?
I turned. So after the person he didn't buy the car, I called the cops. I had them come out. I went to the lot that was right there. It was a car lot right there. Checked the video. So I talked to the cop for a minute, and then a family member, my cousin, she had called my kid's grandfather, and he actually came to get me. But I drove my car to his house, and then he drove me to the hospital.
Okay.
And then my cousin, she came to sit with me at the ER, and I went home the same day. But my biggest thing was like I didn't look, like I didn't look, and I have a video of it. I didn't look to the left, like I wasn't aware of my surroundings. So I kind of blame myself for not protecting myself because you, as a parent, you teach your kids to look both ways.
Yeah.
And even though I didn't, the way the intersection is, I didn't feel like I had to do that because I was in and out that street. Like on the video, you see us walking the street, we're looking at the car, we had enough space. I just didn't think to just look again before I walked in the street. And the trauma I deal with from that accident is the fact that a lot of people that I love and I care about, they always just was like, "Oh, you didn't even look." So I feel like at my funeral, if I would have passed away, that's what, she didn't even look. She just walked in the street. You know what I mean? Then I was, like told that, "Oh, you tried to commit suicide." And I was like, no, I wasn't trying to commit suicide. I literally was just trying to sell a car and do a test drive, and I walked in the street and I got hit. So I was definitely numb from the whole situation.
I was just about to ask you that.
Yeah.
Like, how were you, like, emotion wise?
Yeah, I was numb. I didn't even cry about it. Like, and I feel like nobody cared. Like, besides my kid's grandfather, obviously my children, when they found out, my cousin, she cared, but nobody else pulled up. My mother was my only visitor at my house. She came to see me one day. She had to go to work, but she was the only person who came to see me. So basically, I had to lean on my older two children, my son and my daughter. My son's 21 now, and my daughter is 14. But this happened a year ago, almost. So next month,
close.
Yeah, next month, March 16th, 2024 is when I got hit. So next month, it will actually be a year.
Wow.
That I got hit. So
let me ask you something. Did you seek therapy?
I haven't had any therapy from that accident, physical or mental.
Both.
Neither one.
Did that put you in a space where you just like you develop a certain type of fear?
I noticed that I have like neural issues. So like, which I was already getting treatment for that from the first accident. So I was seeing a neurologist from my first accident, and I just noticed that it kind of made it worse. So basically, I'm real fidgety, like flinch, like I'll flinch. Yeah, I have like if I'm in a car, I have to be like the driver. I can't be the passenger. So I'm good as long as I'm driving.
You
But
good.
I can drive. But if somebody else is driving, I can't pay attention to the road. I have to be occupied like on my phone or something. I can't actually. I'm gonna be like stepping on my brake that I don't got. Like I can't do it.
Cause I mean, it sounds like you developed a thing called PTSD. Um, are you up for seeking therapy?
I want to do therapy, but I know that therapy can be something that may could be used against me depending on what you say.
You don't feel like you in a safe space,
No.
and it's hard for you to break down certain barriers in your life because you hold them in a sacred place in yourself.
Right. So depending on who you talking to, I don't know what their background is, and I just don't want anybody just writing diagnosis and prognosis about me on paper that could affect me long term. So that's one of the main reasons why I don't seek therapy for mental therapy. The second reason why I haven't had therapy is because I didn't have car insurance. So even though I got hit as a pedestrian, like I was just showing a car, right? But it's like, oh, did you have car insurance? It's like, no. And I feel like they didn't do a good job, like teaching me that they have victim programs and stuff. I did have a lawyer who dropped the case. So now I got to find a lawyer who's willing to look into it.
The second case, he dropped it?
Yeah. So I went with a lawyer here in Philadelphia, and he dropped the case. So I think the end of August, I found out my drug. I hit March. I signed on right away with a lawyer. The end of August, I found out like, yeah, we're not saying you don't have a case, but we're not taking the case. So it kind of like let me down because it's like, dang, like I wasn't even mad that the person hit me because I believe in my heart that they probably did not see me or think that they were going to hit me. But, I have injuries. Like I don't feel the same. Like my body is not the same. But I'm excited. This Monday I have my first appointment for an orthopedic doctor
That's good.
to see, because the last couple weeks I've been experiencing a lot of pain, and I found out by going to the ER that I have mild arthritis like in my hips and in my lower back. So I have to go get help. Like I have to.
When the last time you cried?
I don't really cry that much. I don't really cry about. Maybe the last time I cried was at the ER when I found out that I had arthritis.
Okay.
That was like a month ago. I cried because I was in so much pain, and I had to go from one hospital to the next because the doctor wasn't listening to me. He was like, oh, you have a UTI. I'm like, no, I don't have a UTI. Like, this is something else. Like, can you do imaging on me? And he refused to do imaging on me. This was at Roxborough Hospital. And I told him he was a bad doctor.
I do not go to the hospital. I went there for one thing, and I was left in a hallway. It was a crazy nightmare.
Yeah.
Sophie, my last question to you. All right. What is one thing that no one know, but they need to know about you?
I'm tired of being strong. I'm tired of figuring it out.
Sometimes you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders.
I don't want to be an average statistic. I feel like I'm not the same from being hurt just all the way around in my life. And because I'm strong, people don't pull up for me. can I say this?
Go ahead.
This week, one of my close cousins, I called him on the phone, and he said such and such, she just killed herself. And I said, where you at? And I went straight to him, and she was like, I think 49 years old. His aunt, she unalived herself. And I went to him, and she was like a mom to him. So I was there. I learned that day that cops, they come in with a body bag, a blue body bag, and they will carry you and put you in a paddy wagon. And I never knew that cops did that. And I just felt like she had wrote a note. In her note, she was like, said her name. She said, I'm of sound body and mind. And basically it was just, she didn't even say why she did it. And I just was like, I don't want that to be me. And I seen her in that bed, because after they cleared it as a scene, you can go up and say your goodbyes. And I never met her in person, but I had to go support my cousin because it's just like death just keeps happening. And you know how they say check on your family members? But to be around somebody that you never met and actually see them gone because they left, because they couldn't take it no more. She was in pain, and they stopped her dosage on her medicine. And she was on morphine. She had a spinal injury. And I was like, this is why I don't want to take this medicine. It's like I don't want to get addicted to these medicines. And I go every single day without no medicine, because I don't want to get addicted to not feeling pain. And you cannot put people on medication and then take them off of it and think that it's not going to cause mental. Like, she said that the medicine, I need my medicine. They took her off the medicine. She said, if y'all take me off my medicine, I'm going to do this. And she did it. So I'm afraid of getting on medication and that being something that I will deal with in the future.
How's your mental health today?
I mean, you got me crying. It's fair because I do have people that I talk to. I'm starting to open up more. I'm one of those people that I shut down. I will cry in the shower. I'll cry myself to sleep. I try not to cry in front of people because it's like, nobody want to hear it. Nobody want to hear it. And I realized that I really don't have that much support, physical support. Like when I got hurt, like I said, there's only 2 people pulled up: my mom, my kid's grandfather, my cousin, and my mom. And a lot of people love me, and a lot of people say, oh, I didn't know it was that bad. So it's like, I know my kids love me. I don't want to be a failure to my kids. I want to be able to provide for them. I want them to have better than what I had. And it's hard doing those things when you look at it like, dang, I look at my life and you know how people say they don't have no regrets?
Right.
But I do, I have regrets of being a teen mom, and I don't promote teen pregnancy. It was not fun. My mom, she was not having it. I felt bad. Like I felt like, oh, when my friends went away to college and school, I wasn't going. You really have to think about that, And now we live in a day and age where a lot of the young girls are being pursued by older men even more, and they don't realize that they're being groomed or attacked, so.
Sophia, if there's one thing that you could tell your younger self, what is that?
If I could talk to my younger self, I would tell her to be confident, because she wasn't. growing up in the projects, she got teased. I got teased a lot by the boys. Bucktooth fever. Out of like my friends, I got teased a lot, and I understand why. And I remember as I got older, the same boys that teased me, they liked me. And I asked like, well, why did y'all tease me so bad? And he's one of my good friends to this day. He was like, we didn't want you to think you was better than us.
Wow.
So I was like, that's heavy, you know. Always felt like because I'm considered like a mixed breed. My mom would call me a mixed breed. You mixed. That's always like you gotta prove how black you are, you know, like, or why do you look like this and your mom, your sisters and your brother don't look like this? Like, you know, I don't know nothing but black. Like all the women in my family are black women. So my dad being a mixed breed, then I'm mixed. Oh, what you mixed with? It's like all I know is that I'm black. So you're trying to fit in your community and they don't see you as black. They see you as better when you like, I'm just like y'all.
What is being a black woman in 2025?
What does it feel like?
Good.
It's hard. It's hard because I have a lady, her name's Miss Esther. She checks on me all the time. She's in her 90s. She's like 96 years old. And she texts me every day and just tells me she loves me and my children and she encourages me all the time. And she basically said that nothing has changed with the black man and the black woman. Like it's just all the same. So it's kind of like when somebody that's in their 90s tell you that is nothing has changed, I feel very afraid for my children because she told me like nothing has really changed. It's the same. It's like protect yourself. The black man is not protecting the black woman. I have a friend that's a cop. He said that in Philadelphia, a lot of women are being carjacked. So it's like you really have to have your head on a swivel. They are attacking black women, black children, because black women are transporting their black children, and these people are stealing their cars, hijacking their cars, they're not putting everything on the news, but it is happening. So you really have to get in touch with your local police district and find out what's going on in your neighborhood because it is happening every single day.